What's up, YouTube? This is Walt back with another video. Today, I'm going to be talking about the presidential debate that we saw last night. I was watching live on CNN. It was televised on all the stations and stuff like that. Um, so, I don't know. Were we really surprised at what we saw last night? I mean, in a sense, I kind of feel like Joe Biden is definitely showing his age for sure. Um, I may have mentioned this before on any of my other videos, but yes, I'm a Democrat. Yes, I voted for Joe Biden in 2016. Yes, I plan to vote for him again. Um, you know, later this year in November 2024. But he's definitely showing his age. The debate performance last night was simply not the best by any stretch of the imagination. Um, he really struggled to answer questions. Um, Looking at the news today, I saw that people were saying he lost a considerable amount of weight since the last time he was actually on TV. So he's definitely showing his age for sure. Um, I was a little bit surprised that the situation kind of revealed itself as soon as he came out. As soon as he basically started talking, he was slurring his words. His voice wasn't well. I do understand that they said he had a cold of some sort, but even still, he didn't sound all that great. I don't know if the mic that he was using had anything to do with that, um, but it just overall wasn't his best work for sure. He seemed to pause a lot, hesitate a lot. He seemed to get lost in a lot of his thoughts as he was speaking. So um, I was a bit concerned about that. He did improve, towards like the end of the debate because it was only like what hour and a half long, something like that. So, um, you know, looking at the commentary this morning, a lot of people said that basically, they should choose another candidate. They should, go through the whole process of finding um, someone else to replace him. Although Kamala Harris is the vice president, she can step in for him. It does seem as though that maybe um, people don't want her. There's a lot of reasons behind that, especially with a lot of the initiatives that Biden himself is putting out there, in particular with criminal justice reform. They kind of feel that Kamala Harris would be like the almost hypocrite of the administration for that. For those of you who don't know or who may not remember, back in the day, before she became a senator, she was the prosecutor in California, and apparently she sent a lot of black men to jail for various drug crimes, namely weed. Um, of course, different time, weed wasn't legal in the country, so allegedly she did her job, but even still, it's like, well, here he is out there, here she is out here, arresting all these black guys, and now you want to do criminal justice reforms to kind of get that reform. So that's like the hypocritical part there. And there's some other things too that she did, over the years that wouldn't go well with her. Wanted to kind of like reverse herself should she step in to become president. Um, as far as my thoughts on it, I don't know. I mean, everybody is entitled to have a bad night on a debate. Um, Many presidential candidates had bad nights. Um, Trump certainly had plenty of bad nights on debates. I mean, he never really answered questions. Hillary had a couple issues with her debates back in 2016 when she was running. Obama certainly did, in particular on that one debate when it was his anniversary with his wife, and I remember on that one in particular, he didn't bring his A game. But similar to all of them, they all bounced back pretty quick. I mean, Biden was over in, was it North Carolina today at a rally. He seemed to be back to his old self. He was very coherent. He was able to, you know, walk fast, talk fast, explain stuff to people in a way that, that was legible. And I said legible because they used that word a lot yesterday. They was like, oh, his speech wasn't legible. Well, he kind of did a good job for today. So I don't know. Some people tried to say that he was sick and that explained the reason for his voice sounding the way it did. Maybe it was. I don't know. I noticed he did cough quite a bit, so it's possible. I mean, summer colds, they do exist. So hopefully, they're able to address that. Me personally, I was a bit concerned that they didn't give him any water while he was there. I mean, that may have helped clear up any mucus that was in his throat or anything like that, but they didn't give him anything like that. They also, um, didn't try to, you know, direct him towards any questions. It was a very, very much like, I would say, like a very open format. Um, some people appreciate it, some people didn't. Americans in general like to be entertained, so they prefer to have an audience and people egging them on and stuff like that. But in this debate, they didn't do that. So there was no audience there. It was just the two moderators and Trump and Biden. That was it. They wasn't allowed to talk over each other. If anybody did, once they're, I think they had like 2 minutes. Somebody correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I think they each had 2 minutes to answer a question. And once that 2 minute limit was reached, their mic was turned off, and that was done on both sides. Um, from my understanding, that was done to remedy what happened the last time those two had a debate. Um, and it seemed to be pretty effective. Same thing with having no audience. It kind of forced the candidates to talk and really try to answer the questions. But I'm not so sure how successful they were at doing that. It definitely seems that, um, you know, this new format kind of worked to the detriment of Biden, because he didn't have, it wasn't nothing there. He just was free to answer a question for 2 minutes and didn't really say much of anything. Trump didn't really answer any questions at all. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. One second. In terms of November and who I think will win, I don't know. I think at this point it's kind of like a toss-up. It seems as though that um, I want Biden to win. I mean, I think he has the better moral character and the moral judgment. However, when you look at all that's been going on in terms of like immigration and all the people coming in from the southern border in Texas and them busing people up to New York, and they're probably having in New York right now with overcrowded housing. They made promises. New York made promises to people in terms of getting stable housing. Now they're telling people they don't have that no more. The squatters' laws up there, the homeless situation, the crime situation, not just the crime situation in particular, not just in New York but across the country. I don't know. I think something more needs to be done about that. I don't think it should be as extreme as what Trump wanted to do, which is to say that mass deportation, nobody could come in. But certainly the way Biden handled that situation in particular wasn't the most favorable. I think it kind of needs to be a policy somewhere in the middle that would be better for that. In terms of the economy, you have this massive inflation that's been going on now for over a year, and they did address that in a meeting. I mean, in a debate yesterday, they did address that where they talked about, Trump mentioned how his economy, his economic policies, help grow the economy, and that's kind of like what caused all this stuff to happen in terms of the job growth numbers and unemployment being low overall and stuff like that. And then he tried to say that Biden's policies to counteract that caused the inflation. Now, I'm not an economist, so I can't really say for sure exactly what caused it anyway, but what I can tell you is that it's not going well. It's not right. Inflation's been high for too long. There's a lot of job layoffs. When I look around on YouTube, I get all these videos on my timeline about people that can't find jobs, people that's been out of work for a long time, employers not calling back, employers ghosting, job offers that they do get are being rescinded, salaries being way too low, people are unable to afford their rent or their mortgage, homelessness is on the rise, corporate possessions is on the rise, foreclosures is on the rise. And so it's like, well, somewhere along the line, we need to have like a silver lining to kind of bring this stuff back in. Personally, for me, like I said, I'm not a Republican. I've been a Democrat my entire life. I never planned on switching to Republican, but it do seem that even for my own personal finances, that I did do a little bit better with Trump being president than I did with Biden being president, and that's unfortunate for me to say, because I certainly wasn't expecting that to be the case. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I mean, Trump, he does have a lot of supporters. think he got like 75 million votes during the last election. Um, Biden had more. I think he had like 78 million votes. Somebody correct me. I don't have the exact figures in front of me. So I think it'll be a close election, just like it was last time. Um, but I do hope that it's more civil this time. Um, I am concerned about the threats um, that Trump made in regard to if he doesn't win this election, it'll be bloodshed. I am concerned about that. Um, I'm also concerned about Project 2025, which it says initiative to kind of like erode the federal government of all types of agencies and protections for the American people. So I'm concerned about that as well. Um, More importantly, though, I'm concerned about what it says about our justice system and our laws. I mean, if you're looking at Trump in particular, he got all those felonies that he got convicted of, 34 felonies. He's got altogether it was like 98 charges, I believe, at last count. I know that he got some more kind of pending right now, pending charges, but it's like you got all those charges and it seems to be no accountability there. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. You know, I think that the president of the United States is supposed to represent the people, all Americans. And what's going on here is not representing that. If it was you or I, anybody else, with 34 felonies, convictions, you know, you can't even get a job at the post office or any type of government agency at all with that type of record. So the fact that he can run the government with those same charges is kind of odd. Um, but at the same time, I think it could lead to some kind of changes going on, some kind of progressive changes that might occur as a result of this. So they might make it easier for people with criminal records to get jobs now in the future if he does happen to get reelected. I think that could have some positive consequences as well as some negative ones. But it'll be interesting to see. Our country has changed a lot over the past like 25 years, in particular in the past 10. So it'll be really interesting to see 10 years out from now how things have evolved and changed. We saw what happened with them legalizing weed and stuff like that. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens in regard to criminal justice reform and the way the laws are written in terms of employment and stuff like that, how all that stuff shakes out going forward. So that'll be very interesting. If by chance Biden does not finish this election out, I don't know. They're gonna have to choose a different. Democrats have to choose a different candidate. A lot of people put out Pete Buttigieg, which will kind of go to what I was just saying about progressive changes. First gay secretary in you know in Biden's administration. I think he was the governor as well, so that'd be very nice to see if that's the case. I think the LGBTQIA plus community do need to get some representation in the federal government, so it'd be very nice to see if he can get in there. If that were to come to pass, I will vote for him. I think Elizabeth Warren would be good. Now I do recognize, we start talking about the Elizabeth Warrens and stuff like that. You start talking about older people again, but she do got the mental acuity still to be able to hold a conversation and to be able to answer questions and stuff like that. So, and she got the experience too, so I think that would be good. As I already said, Pete Buttigieg would be good because he's the complete opposite, young, progressive, kind of more representative of the way things are today. So I think that would be a good option. Bernie Sanders would be a good option too. I was a fan of him back in 2016. Of course, I don't know. I think maybe his agenda might be a little bit too progressive. What do you guys think about that? Do you think Bernie Sanders is a little bit too progressive with some of the things that he was proposing? Kamala Harris is good as well, even though she's vice president. She gets a lot of flack for kind of being like aloof and stuff like that, and for all the stuff I mentioned at the start of the video. But she also represents that new, younger demographic that it'd be more in tune with the younger generation. So it'd be interesting to see what she's able to do. And those are the only people I got. I think there might be, a, on a Democratic ticket that would be pretty good. Um, that we might have a chance at beating Trump. Only time will tell. As of now, Biden's still on the ticket. He's made a commitment to run. His campaign is in negotiations to try to figure out what they want to do, if they want to keep him on or if they want to somehow, um, get somebody else. But time will tell. We're not able to see what's going to go on with it yet. So we'll see. Um, Let me know what you think in the comments. This is a short video today. Let me know what you think in the comments about the debate. Did you think was it a good debate? Was it a bad debate? Are you giving Biden grace for having a bad night? What about Trump? Did he do? Was Trump being Trump? Or do you think, what do you think? Was he acting presidential this time? And if Biden is not going to be, the nominee, if they feel like this performance was just the last straw, do you think they should choose somebody else? And if so, who? I look forward to reading your comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.